Good evening, this is Security Watch welcoming you to INDISEC 2009 evening session of day 2. And with me is Mr. Stephen Parker, who has been part of the administrative setup of a city called Laverne in Texas. He's also had extensive experience with Texas Instruments, and now he's currently with MDI. Welcome to India, Mr. Parker.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So we'd like to know, given the fact that you have served as mayor of Laverne, what are the insights that the American administrative setup over there can offer to the Indian administrative setup over here in terms of understanding security, in terms of having a budget for security, in terms of having a mindset for security?
I believe personally that India is very prepared from a budget perspective. From what I'm hearing, the budgets they've been putting money in place for many years, getting ready to upgrade the security. In the U.S. since 2001, when 9/11 happened, America really was not focused on internal problems. Terrorism was non-existent in the U.S. So it's only recently that the Americans have actually put security as a forefront. Most foreign countries I've ever visited, there's much more of an emphasis on security. And I believe India is right there on the edge of what they need to do to get this rolling. This show is absolutely necessity for Homeland Security here.
Right. Steve, we'd like to know, one of the problems that Indian administrators face is how to bring the public on board. How to sensitize them so that they are more responsible, they understand how to conduct themselves in public events. So given the fact that after 9/11 the security environment in the US also changed, what were the changes that you in the administration felt in terms of public interface that you should reach out to the public, and how should you reach out to them, and what should you tell them about?
As far as how should you reach out, the media is absolutely the best option. And then for enforcement, to me, you've got to enforce the laws. You've got to hold true to what you want the laws to be. And I see a lot of things in India that are not being enforced.
Such as?
Well, the code enforcements on driving and changing lanes, and that causes accidents. Just following the codes or the laws or the signs that you have posted saying what you're supposed to do when you're driving.
Steve, in that case, we'd like to know, given the fact that India is such a vast country like America, and we have such a vast and diverse population, much larger than America is, but of course equally diverse, you could say, how do you ensure security for everyone without actually rubbing people the wrong way?
You don't. We're not about making people happy. We're about securing their safety, and it can't be an issue. We're here to secure the people and make them safe.
There's also the privacy versus safety debate. So, given the fact that a balance needs to be struck over there, which side of the balance would you be on?
Hard question. I don't believe that human rights are being violated by trying to protect the children of our streets. To me, that's not an issue, and it won't be for a long time to come.
Steve, next question would be, given the fact that you served with Texas Instruments at a time when Texas Instruments first came to India in the 80s, right? What has been your experience of working with the Indians?
I find the Indians to be the most intelligent people I've ever met. My whole crew here of Indian friends are highly intelligent people. I am very impressed with their knowledge and their work dedication, how hard committed they are to producing the final good product.
Steve, in the US, you are allowed to own firearms, but there has been progressive clampdowns on the use of firearms and on people acquiring firearms. So in the good old days when you could actually go, like they have the cowboys going up and picking the guns that they want, and in the westerns, you're not allowed that anymore. There is a gun control lobby that's become very active, and there are politicians who are actually ensuring that those parts of the constitution which actually allow the use of militia, and given the fact that guns brought about American independence in a way, that part is now being cut down, and the National Rifle Association is also being asked to tone down. That the anti-gun lobby is becoming very, very powerful. So how does an American now ensure his own safety, given the fact that an assailant could be armed?
Well, I have been in security for 30-something years, and I have never owned a handgun. I have felt secure my whole life living in America. Uh, I had hunting rifles as a kid with my dad, but never owned a handgun, and it's just a feeling of security that I believe I feel for being an American. Um, that's how.
So you're okay with the gun control lobby that Americans should be restricted from certain kinds of guns and they should have the proper licenses.
The reason for the Bill of Rights that allows us to carry handguns was to protect your person, and I personally believe we live in a safe environment there, and that personal protection is not as big of an issue as. And I don't believe that the gun control laws are trying to stop the good guys from owning guns. They're trying to stop the bad guys from owning the guns. So it's a very hard thing to balance.
In India, we have something called the Arms Act, which disallows private security agencies from buying guns on an industry license or on a corporate license. You're only allowed private licenses, which means I can own a gun or two guns, but I cannot start a security organization and have 20, 30 guns purchased for my 20, 30 security guards. Now, because of this particular problem, security agencies over here are unable to provide that kind of firepower. In the Mumbai attacks, the assailants were carrying AK-47s, and you cannot stop people with batons if they are carrying AK-47s. So what do you think? Is there some kind of technology that MDI can provide or that you can think of, or is there some kind of regulatory intervention that is required so that the balance can be somewhat rectified?
Well, that's what this whole industry is about, is trying to get as early of a detection as possible so that you know that the threat is on its way. And everything that we offer is trying to get your border or your perimeter to be a further and further, wider area so that you have more early detection. And that way you can better be prepared when something is fixing to happen.
Finally, Steve, we'd like to know what exactly do you have over here, and if you could give us a brief overview.
This is just showing how our product lines offer a platform that you can tie all of the product lines that every one of these vendors here offer into our platform. So we're not here to just sell you a product. We're just trying to let you understand that integrating all of these into one uniform platform is what MDI is here to do. When we get our office set up here in Delhi, we intend to offer start to finish designs and products for all of India.